Hello and welcome back to installing an iron fence and driveway gate from Iron Fence Shop. This is episode 3 and today we'll be laying out, drilling for, and setting the posts for both the fence and the driveway gate. What you're watching here is me laying out some high visibility string lines using some wooden stakes I whipped up to be able to mark the ground in a perfect line where I'll be digging out the posts. And taking a quick pit stop here to grab a bigger hammer for a little bit more persuasion. The biggest thing I was looking to do here was get the lines exactly where I wanted the fence to be, as well keeping them square to each other by using this carpenter's square. When digging and setting the posts, I know we'll have a small margin for error, as we will have a 2-inch diameter post going into 8-inch holes. But the goal is to get these posts as centers in the cement as possible for the most strength possible. You'll occasionally see me pull back up a stake that I've already put in, and that's just to get these micro adjustments down.
With the long length, I'm doing the same process as the short one. The only difference is keeping an eye out for the string getting caught on any of these plants in the center.
And just like with the stakes, these plants just require a little bit of persuasion to get them to stay out of the way. For being a rookie here, I was pretty pleased to see that my first shot at this long length actually came out pretty square. And to save us all some time, I cut out the process of laying the third length going into the side of the house. I started marking out the posts by laying the paint for the corner 2 posts, as those are directly where my string lines intersected. I then took my tape and laid out the most critical post-to-post length where my man gate would live. From there, it was just marking out 8-foot sections off until I came to the end of the line. All these layout numbers and my thought process behind them can be seen in greater detail back in episode 1.
And as I finish wrapping up the layout, we get to digging the posts next. We're going to have a big jump cut as I go to the big box store, grab a auger, and bring it home. Here it is. This is the one-man hydraulic towable auger. I decided to splurge a little here because my last auger experience was with a 2-man auger, and let me tell you, for the small extra price, the amount this thing saved my back by comparison was worth every penny. You're going to see a lot of jump cuts in this section, and that's mostly because with any new tool, there are some growing pains. After the first hole or two, we slowly got into a rhythm. We used a combination of a spade shovel, a hand auger, and obviously the mechanical auger. My wife would stabilize things front to back by the motor as I put the downward pressure on the machine. We used both hand tools to clear away the dirt as well as break up any debris or roots that got in our way. Here you see a trick we use to determine where we are at depth-wise. I scraped away any of the built-up dirt around the edge and laid a 4-foot level across. I then took the tape and measured the depth to see where we are at. After a couple rounds of back and forth, we got to our final depth for the first hole. We then moved around to the next hole, figuring out that we had a convenient driveway instead of a sloped surface to work from, and this was our rhythm for the rest of the holes. I do want to note that as we go on, that the day we had set aside to do this also just happened to be about 98 degrees. This may not seem too bad to most, but where we live, that is extremely out of the ordinary for it to get that hot. What you don't see are frequent water breaks in between these clips and a lot of sweat. I will say though that minus the heat this day, this process wasn't that bad. The towable auger was a huge back saver and time saver, and with that 8-inch bit, you're not actually taking away that much material as you go. It's easy to maneuver and it's easier to get all the excess dirt out of the way. Also note, because of the size of the project, we just used this towable auger, but there are also stand-on augers that are much easier to use. A little bit more expensive, but if you're doing a longer distance, it's definitely worth it. And now onto the driveway gate, which was a special case. This one 18-inch hole we had to dig for the 6-inch post was as difficult as the rest of those holes combined. One tip I got from the rental place was to take a full pass with the 8-inch bit first to make a pilot hole and clear away some material. Then from there, we came back with the massive 18-inch diameter bit to bring it up to full size. But before we did that, we had to go around and remove all the excess dirt from the first pass so we can come in with the second bit. And this is us putting on the extension for the bit because we had to drill deeper than the 3 foot that this bit could handle. And inherently, after drilling down with that bit, bringing it back up caused some other issues because it was now too big to be able to easily bring up. And here it is, switching over to the massive 18-inch bit. You know, I'm sure with the skid steer and the right tool for the right job, this would have been much easier. But with this little towable auger, it was a little bit of a challenge. But we persevered and made it through, leaving us with a large 18-inch hole for our 6-inch driveway gate post. But at the end of the day, it really wasn't that bad. We only had to dig one of these larger holes, and we made it through. I'll save you from having to watch the footage of us putting that extension on this 18-inch bit, as well as the cleanup after this process, because there was quite a bit of dirt after this. Now that we got that mess cleaned up over there, we're going to take some of this concrete. This isn't all of it. We still got some more in the back of the car. Those posts, put them in place. We decided to go with the fast setting concrete. So hopefully tomorrow we'll be looking at installing the fence panels. So yeah, this says 20 to 40 minutes. Full cure time in 4 hours is what I read on the Quikrete website. But results may vary based on temperature, humidity, all that good stuff. Also, you're going to see somebody else helping me here. That's my buddy JP. We've been friends since elementary school. He currently lives in a condo, so he needs to get his yard work fixed in. So we're going to put him to work. So to start filling these holes, what you see us doing here is putting a couple inches of the coarse river gravel in the bottom of the holes to act as a base and drainage system for all the cement we're about to put in. So we're using the same trick with the level and the tape measure as before to measure the depth, as well as using any piece of scrap wood we had laying around to compact all that gravel down in the hole. And to save things from being redundant, we use the posts in the center of the hole, finding where they're level, and put back all of our high visibility string lines, so make sure all of those posts are perfectly in line throughout the entire run. Now comes for the real fun part of mixing all of this cement by hand. There wasn't enough to justify renting a mixer or anything, so we just went at it with a hoe and shovel and a wheelbarrow, and things went pretty well. Immediately following the mixing, we filled in the first hole, one shovelful at a time. I laid the cement in the hole while my buddy made sure that the post was staying plumb with the 4-foot level and as close to the string line as possible without actually touching it, moving the string line. You'll also hear some banging around, and that's just a small rubber mallet I had, just in case the bottom moved out of place or shifted at all while I was laying the cement in the hole. Back comes out the scrap piece of wood to tamp down the cement to make it as compact as possible. You'll also see us leave the top of the cement a few inches below grade, and that was at the recommendation of Iron Fence Shop. The reason we are doing this is to have some space to fill back in with topsoil, allowing the landscaping or grass to go all the way up to the post and covering up that unsightly cement. The other thing you see us doing is using the straight piece of scrap wood to span the gap between posts. This allows us to check if the posts are in line with each other vertically, making the eventual look of the fence much cleaner. I will say the only reason I felt comfortable taking the big hammer to these posts is because I had that piece of scrap wood in between and to kind of force those fence posts back in line with each other.
And now you're seeing a little bit closer up version of what we've been doing with tamping it down and filling in the cement, as well as putting that topsoil back over the last couple of inches for landscaping. And this is the reason we had to dig that big 18-inch post. This 6x6 metal post was heavy. It took both of us to actually lift this thing off the pallet and into place. What you see here is the one big measurement. The key measurement we're trying to get is the distance from the post to the house, because that needs to be perfect so the gate fits in there. Just like with the fence, this was the same exact process. Mix up a batch of cement, tamp it down, get it in place, repeat. And it might go without saying, but the reason why this post and hole are so much larger is the weight of the one-piece driveway gate pulling down on it.
Now let's head back into the garage to finish out the video. Hey, thanks so much for sticking around until the end of the video. Up next, we'll have a video on hanging the driveway gate and fence panels along with the man gate. Be on the lookout for that video very soon. Until then, thanks for watching.